Are you confidently leveraging data analytics to redefine your employer branding efforts? Does the data-driven approach make you anxious? Perhaps you're struggling to figure out what metrics you should even measure, and where do you get the data? I hear you, my friend. And that's why I'm going to dedicate this episode to data analytics and data-driven approach to employer branding. My intention is to take away that creeping anxiety and the fear of unknown when it comes to dealing with employer branding data and analytics. In this episode of Building the Modern Employer Brand podcast, we go directly to the deep end, but with our favorite safety gear to keep our heads securely above the water and feel very confident paddling in the sea of marketing data. If you're new to this podcast, my name is Susanna Rantanen, and I am a seasoned employer branding expert and content and social media marketing coach for professionals struggling with winning and keeping the talents a business needs to remain successful. What makes data analytics so essential? Data analytics is essential to improving your employer branding and recruitment marketing efforts. Because by leveraging data and metrics, we can make more informed decisions about our actions, not only after the fact, but already during the marketing activity. And I think this is equally important in the long-term employer branding as well as the short-term recruitment campaigns. Taking the data-driven approach to talent marketing helps us steer our work towards the intended goals while we can still make changes and drive the results that we want. And all you need to do is decide what the success looks like and make it as specific as you can beforehand. Because when you start with defining your goals and objectives for employer branding or your recruitment marketing campaign, and you make it very specific and quantifiable, it's not difficult at all to check the data and see how you're doing. I can guarantee you that. Data analytics are essential because they help you to save money. They help you to save your time, and they keep away that migraine of not knowing whether you will succeed or not in your work. Let's talk about what metrics you should follow in a social media or a content marketing campaign. Because you are most likely using social media and various online and digital content when promoting your open jobs and employer branding. When evaluating the success of a social media or content marketing campaign, there are actually many key metrics that we should be taking into consideration. And these include the reach of your content, the impressions of your posts, content engagement rates, click-throughs from your paid adverts, traffic to specific pages on your website, and the size of your audience. You may have heard me talk about our Instant Employer Brand Accelerator program. That's where we help you to define your relevant metrics for your recruitment campaigns so that they support both your employer branding efforts and recruitment success. If you want to know more about this Instant Employer Brand Accelerator program, all you need to do is just drop me a DM, drop me an email at susanna@emina.fi, and I shall let you know. So you want to focus on measuring the effectiveness while you promote, not after the campaign ends. Taking the time to measure the effectiveness of your employer brand marketing and recruitment campaigns can literally help you adjust your strategies in real time. And this will help you to maximize the impact and the reach of your campaign. And I'm emphasizing this because the most common way to use your available data is to take a look at it after the recruitment campaign or a promotional employer brand content campaign has ended. I mean, what are you going to do with the data after that? There's no way you can do anything about it after the fact. While, of course, it's important to know if putting money on it was worth anything, once you've eaten your budget and the campaign is over, you can do nothing about it. What about the data-driven approach to employer branding? The data analytics is not critical only during a recruitment campaign, but also when it comes to measuring the ROI, the return on investment for your employer branding initiatives. Employer branding, I've said this a million times, but employer branding is a marathon as opposed to the kind of a sprint nature of a recruitment campaign. And it's imperative to use data, not to go about it blindfolded. I would say data is like a navigation system for you, or your compass in the middle of this deep, dark forest, keeping you secure that you're not getting lost. Data gets you to your employer brand milestones, your end destination, while you still have water, food, and dry shoes. That is the resources that are left to make those wins. With a data-driven approach to employer branding, you need to be strategic about employer branding, because it's impossible to analyze your data unless you know beforehand what your success should look like. Without specific goals and objectives, you'll be staring at random figures that mean nothing and add no value to your work. I mean, if you get, 800 of something, how do you know if that's good or bad? And how do you know, is it enough to turn your time and money spent on it into, is it smart work, or will you be nothing but a cost to your boss? I mean, that's quite important to know, isn't it? And even if it was like 700 last month and 800 this month, you still don't know if this data is even relevant to anything that you work for and that you work towards. And that's why you need to set your employer branding goals and objectives first. And if you have trouble turning your employer branding into strategic employer branding, our employer branding agency, Emine, can help you. So as you know, I've developed that magnetic employer branding method, and that method provides you with a strategic framework and a systematic marketing approach to data-driven employer branding. As said, simply DM me, contact me to set up a discovery call to assess whether our Helsinki, Finland-based employer branding agency could be your ideal partner. So what are some of the data-driven techniques to track HR marketing performance? You're probably eager to hear what these are, what you could use to track your HR marketing performance, whether you want to measure the success of your ongoing recruitment marketing campaign, or simply just understand the impact of your marketing to your employer brand perceptions. You'll need to explore some techniques. So let's crack this box open. I want to first start by kind of separating your social media analytics from your website analytics and your job application data. So social media analytics tell you how your content performs on a chosen social media platform. Your social media analytics give you insight only what happened within that specific social media platform. Whether people see your content, whether they react to it, and whether they do something about it. That's what you get from social media analytics. Your website analytics tell you, for example, how many people clicked through a link somewhere else and arrived at a page or a post on your website. And you can also find out where they found your link, how much time they spent on your page or a website, and did they come back? And these are all pretty relevant metrics when it comes to recruitment campaigns specifically. Then you can get the number of applications that you've received for a vacancy, either from your website or from your ATS. And you can compare this against the number of the times people clicked on the Apply Now button on your website to calculate the percentage between who were somewhat interested and very interested in that vacancy from all of your post viewers, or to see if you have a too high of a number of drop-offs between clicking the Apply Now button and actually leaving the application. Sometimes we see that people click a lot on the Apply Now button, but that doesn't correlate with the number of received applications. And then that indicates you that there was something that held them back between seeing what it entails to leave the application and actually doing it. What you cannot analyze from your website data is the quality of your applicants. That is the job you can do once you start interviewing and testing your applicants. Unless, of course, you have some kind of a coded test integrated into your website, and you can analyze those clicks, whether they, pass the test or not. And I have to say that there's a lot of talk about the quality of applications, and that does not matter because you're not hiring an application. You are hiring a person capable of doing the job. The quality of applications has nothing to do with the ability of the applicant to succeed in the open role, specifically in your organization. And you can't use your website analytics to evaluate that either. But it doesn't mean that you shouldn't evaluate their ability to succeed in their role. All right, let's then talk about evaluating the impact of your employer brand. Analyzing data to understand your marketing impact on your employer brand is different from analyzing recruitment campaign impact and results. With employer branding, getting applications is not your goal. That's the goal of recruitment marketing. In employer branding, your goal is to analyze what type of messages and marketing best help raise employer awareness and build employer brand affinity. And your employer brand marketing analysis helps you drive the kind of conversion value your business then benefits from investing in employer branding. And I would say this is slightly more complex than analyzing recruitment campaign data, but ever so important if your employer is investing resources in employer branding. So let's tackle analyzing social media messaging and marketing first. A consistent growth in social media reach and audience is the size of the audience is evidence of growing employer awareness. The more people that see your post, see your content, the more followers that you have is an indication of growing employer awareness because you have available audience, you're reaching people with your messages and your content to grow, raise their awareness about you as an employer. So that's an indication of it. Social media engagement grows reach, but also tells you if your messages and content are interesting and inspiring enough to get reactions from people. Those engagement reactions indicate the sentiments, the emotions of your audience towards your employer brand. Are they going to be positive? Are they negative? Or are they neutral? You can learn an awful lot about those reactions, peeking into those reactions. And when people engage with your posts, you should engage back, as this influences the positive sentiments about you as the person who responded and the company that you represent. Obviously, taken that your responses are positive. A growing engagement to a post continues to grow reach, which is necessary, again, to raise your employee awareness and grow the size of your organic audience. Because when people engage with your post, the algorithm reads that this post is interesting and it will organically show your post to a wider audience. So it will organically increase the reach of your post. So the more you engage with your audience, the more reach you are able to get for that post. And the more you learn about your audience, which is like doing target market research without having to endure in a massive research project. A growing number of social media followers tells you that your messages and marketing are resonating with the people, and regularly analyzing who your new followers are, like the profiles of your new followers, tells you whether your messages are resonating with the right kind of target audience. And if not, this analysis tells you that you might have to change or alter somehow your messages and points of views to become more interesting for your intended target audience. If you don't know what interests them, you need to engage with the posts and with the people and ask, figure it out. And I have to say that the number of followers is not the value that your boss wants from investing in employer branding. It's irrelevant unless your followers are the audience that you need. But the number of followers indicates that if your employer branding work is more likely to return investment when it resonates with the right target audience, and this right target audience is growing. So you're reaching more and more of the right target audience. So what about the website data for employer branding? Now, if you look at Google Analytics, for example, you'll find an overwhelming amount of website data that you can analyze. I would say that you should not spend time analyzing all of it. I mean, nobody has the time. The most relevant website data to analyze for employer branding impact are your website traffic to your career site and specific career site content pages. For growing employer awareness, you want to see a growth in the number of new visitors. More new visitors, more indication of the opportunity to have your employer awareness grow. And for an indication of employer brand affinity, you want to see a growth in the number of returning visitors. The average time spent on your career site pages indicates if your content is relevant and interesting. If people are leaving your content quickly and not returning, they're not finding your website content relevant and valuable, or vice versa. Which content gets the most visits, or the traffic is growing consistently, that indicates that that specific topic seems to be relevant and valuable and interesting for the visitors. And if your visitor profile is ideal for you, matches your target, then you should promote that content and also create more content from that topic. You can also access data about the demographics and behavior of your career site visitors and analyze what type of audience finds you and where they find you. And this data helps you to evaluate who you convert and how. Another way that data analytics is transforming employer branding efforts is by allowing employers to build a more comprehensive view of their target audience. And when you collect data from multiple sources, employers can create detailed personas that help us better tailor our messages and content to reach the right kind of people for us. And in the magnetic employer branding method, we do talent persona work for this specifically so that we understand our target audience better. And then there are more advanced techniques such as using the UTM links in your shared content, in your promoted content, because that gives you even more specific information about your marketing conversions and, for example, which traffic sources work the best for you. And finally, what data tells you if you are getting a return on employer branding investment? I bet this is something that you really want to hear. So it's very important for us to remember that employer branding is not just about creating a strong social media presence or getting people to visit your career site. Once you get your audience to do that consistently, providing them the reasons to engage with you on socials and check your website for relevant information, you need to move them forward on their candidate journey with your company. It can be an extremely valuable return on investment if your employer brand marketing starts to generate leads at the start of your recruitment funnel. And to convert your audience into recruitment leads, This is not the same as getting their job applications. Leads are more like prospects that are not looking to change jobs right now, but creating connections with them and qualifying them, and not just you qualifying them, but them also qualifying you as their prospective employer one day, and then building and sort of nurturing that social connection with your qualified leads can massively start decreasing the cost of recruitment for your employer. And that can be a very specific return on investment for your employer from employer branding investment. And another example is that internally, for example, the lifetime value of employment, how long people are staying with your company and what value they produce during that time, and the cost of hire through better retention, higher job satisfaction, and also business goals delivered by teams and individuals. These are examples of specific ROI for employer branding. But this is not something that you measure from your social media or from your website data. This is what you have to calculate separately. But very important to prove that employer branding is working for your business, delivering actual value, converting actual value. You don't want to do employer branding just to create content and promote it and advertise it, and then get some people to visit your career site. I mean, that doesn't deliver any value for your business. That delivers value for your audience at best, but nothing for you. That's just a cost. So you want to make sure that what you do is returning on that investment. And these are the specific types of, there's more, but these are examples of the types of value conversion goals for employer branding within the magnetic employer branding method. So at its core, leveraging data analytics in employer branding efforts is all about maximizing efficiency while gaining valuable insights into your target audience, learning what works best as you consistently try to convert employer brand value for the business. I find that this is really, it's like a learning process. You're using data to analyze, to listen to it, to pay attention to what it tells you so that you can learn how to use your time and resources, other resources more efficiently, so that you're not doing things that are simply giving you a headache, requiring your time and energy and your creativity, but that are not delivering any value for anyone. So whether you're just starting out or whether you already have an established employer brand, data analytics should be at the top of your list when it comes to refining your branding efforts. And I hope that with these detailed insights into how passive and active job seekers can engage with your content, how you can find out about that, analyze that, I hope that these insights help you to make more informed decisions, building a stronger employer brand and attracting more qualified candidates through your recruitment marketing efforts. As said, with data, it's possible for us to measure that success in real time. That is really the valuable thing, while you have still the opportunity to adjust your strategies and tactics accordingly and measure the ROI for your employer branding and your recruitment marketing initiatives. Phew, that was a lot, wasn't it? Wasn't it a lot? Now, this is probably an episode that you need to save for yourself, share with your colleagues so that you can discuss and plan data analysis collaboratively. And if you're now listening, not reading or watching, go to modernemployerbrand.com/podcast 148, because all of this that you just heard is written out in a form of a blog post, and it will help you to just digest the information because it's a lot. But I tell you, it's worthy of your time to start learning more about data and analysis. Data and analysis, yes. Now, when you help, or we help you to focus only on data that makes sense strategically, because there's a lot of data and you shouldn't pay attention to all of it. So at Employer Branding Emina, we love working with data and try to make it as simple as possible, because it needs to be a super efficient time investment, because there's so much work to do in employer branding or recruitment marketing. So we like to use data and help our clients also to use data as kind of a teacher. So once you get that sweet experience working with data with us, you stop seeing it as kind of a danger zone and start seeing it as your most passionate love affair. Trust me. Alrighty, that's all for this week, my friends. Again, connect, comment, and share your thoughts with me online. And if you did love this episode, please hit that subscribe button and show me that way that you love my podcast. Give me feedback, connect with me, engage with me on socials. I love connecting with you guys and learning more about you and building relations with you guys. Also, I decided to do a season of interviews in this podcast. And the other week I had my friend Susie Welsh on, that was episode 146. And we talked about how to figure out this thing called life, career, and being a great boss. People have just loved that episode. Now, if you haven't seen it yet or listened to it yet, listen to it or watch our conversation. You'll find that at modernemployerbrand.com/podcast146. And I also have a couple of people already in line for near future episodes. And I'm still very eager and happy to receive your tips and suggestions on who you would love to hear me interview and have a chat with on my podcast, and about what. So let me know. Drop me those tips. Drop me those suggestions. DM me on LinkedIn or Instagram, or email me. And I'll then promise to do my best to make your wish come true. Now, find this episode and all the previous episodes of my podcast at www.modernemployerbrand.com. Thanks for listening or watching. This is Susanna Rantanen, your coach and guide in the world of modern employer branding. It was so lovely to have you listening to this episode today. Until next week. Moi moi!